Alright, welcome back. This is continuation of organic chemistry. So today we'll be considering IUPAC nomenclature. IUPAC stands for International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So nomenclature is just naming. So what we'll be doing basically today is to name organic compound. And we have 4 compounds here that we want to name. Now we consider this. There are some rules that governs the naming of organic compound. So in the course of naming, we will learn the rule. So your number first rule is to identify the longest chain. So what we are saying invariably is you consider the longest chain. So this is quite simple. So here we have the longest chain. So I have the longest chain. So you pick the longest chain, pick the longest chain as the parent name. So the longest chain will be the parent name. So in this case now the longest chain is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is pentane. So the parent name of this compound is pentane. So you have that somewhere, pentane. Then we look at other compound or other substance that are not part of the longest chain. So we have this. So let's highlight them with the red ink. We have this and we have this. Leave hydrogen is just part of the hydrocarbon. So all these are just attachments that are not part of the longest chain. So they are out. Now, in order to name this compound, what we are going to do now is to number the longest chain. You number the longest chain. We have identified the longest chain. Now the second thing to do is to number the longest chain. So I can number from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can as well start, it's like the end of 2 streets. You can start numbering the streets from the beginning from here, or you can start numbering a street from here. But what determines where to start the numbering is the one that is closest to the bus stop, so to say. I'm just giving you an example. Now if you look at this, if I number from here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now there's something you should observe here. If I number with the black ink 1, 2, 3, my first house is house number 3. But if I number from here with the red ink 1, 2, first house is going to be on number 2. So it's better I number from the red ink because the proximity, that is, this is very close. So when I number from here, the first building is going to be on house 2. But if I number from here 1, 2, 3, the first building is going to be on carbon 3. So another rule is number in such a way so as to have the branch chain to have the smallest value. Number in such a way to give the smallest value to the branch chain. Alright? So that is another rule. So with this now, it is quite easy. So that is rule number 2. Number in such a way to give the smallest value to the branch chain. This is a branch chain, this is a branch chain. If I number from the black ink, the first branch chain will be on carbon 3. If I number from the red ink, the first branch chain will be on carbon 2. So I'm going with the red ink. Now after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to now attempt to write this name. Then to name this branch chain. So from here now, I will be having 2, 3 dimethyl. Now, how do I get methyl? This is methyl, this is methyl. You can check our previous video for this. Methyl. Methyl is from alkyl. Alkyls are gotten from alkane minus 1 hydrogen. So if I have methane, which is CH4 minus 1 hydrogen gives me CH3. So if this is methane, then this is methyl. So if I have C2H6, if I minus 1 hydrogen, I'm going to be having C2H5. So if this is ethane, then this is ethyl. So that is for the alkyl group, which usually form the branch chain. And of course, you can have halogens and some other elements to form the branch chain. So we get here. So that is how we got the methyl. and 2, 3 signifying the position of the branching. That is, one methyl is on carbon 2, another methyl is on carbon 3. That is why we have 2, 3. And because there are 2 methyls, that is why we have dimethyl. So we have 2, 3 dimethyl. Then the parent name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is pentane. So here we have 2, 3 dimethyl pentane. So this is the name for this compound, 2, 3 dimethyl pentane. Now, what you should also observe here is that I use comma between numbers and hyphen between numbers and alphabets. So it's important for you to take note of that. So we understand. So let's go to the naming number 2. So I'm going to rub this. So for number 2 we have C, CH3, C2, H5, this, 4, H, we have chloride, we have Br, we have hydrogen. Now, this is for number 2. So we'll be naming this compound. Now, this is a bit advanced than the first question because we have halogens here, but we have to also treat them like branchings. So in order to name this, remember our first rule is to pick your longest chain first as the parent name. Pick your longest chain first as the parent chain. Now, I could go longest chain. In that case, I'll be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I could go this way with the red ink. Now with the red ink, I have 2 carbons here already. We can loosen this to have C and C, so to make it straight. But because of space, that is why we normally contract it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the red ink becomes our longest chain. So it means that this black ink is wrong for the longest chain. So I am going to just rub it. So the black ink is wrong for our longest chain. Alright? Now, which means I am going to be focusing on the red ink as my longest chain. So we have been able to establish that the longest chain has 6 carbons, which is hexane. So that is the parent name, hexane. Now, what I'm left with now is this branching that is not part of the longest chain. This one too is not part of the longest chain. This is not part of the longest chain, and this. So I have 4 that are not part of the longest chain. Now, the second rule is to number the longest chain. Number them. Remember I said in a street, you can number a street from the back, or you number it from the front, which is from the bus stop. From A, you number down, or you can number from Z, you number up. So you have 2 ways. But remember, what informs the method or the numbering will be the one that is closest to a branching. Or if there's functional group, you consider functional group first. But in this case, there's no functional group. Functional group are the alkene, alkyne, the hydroxyl. But here there's no functional group. So this way, just give them the naming straight. So with this, if I number with the black ink, I'm going to be having 1, 2, there are 2 carbons here. I'm going to be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if I number with the red ink, I'm going to be numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, if you check the black numbering, 1, 2, the first branching is on carbon 3. This is carbon 3. This is 1, 2, carbon 3. Then this is the first branching on carbon 3. But if I number with red ink, 1, already on carbon 1, I have 2 branches. So which means I'm going to be going with the red ink for my numbering. Alright? So after establishing that, then I am left with how to number this methyl, bromine, and chloride. So the next thing to do is to now number them or name them alphabetically. So here I have B bromo coming. B alphabetically is coming before C, and C comes before methyl. This is methyl. So I have B before C and C before N. That is bromo before chloro before methyl in alphabetical order. So now I'm going to be naming alphabetical order, but it does not change the number you have already given to them. So from here, quickly, from here I am going to be having, because B is coming first, I'm going to be having 2 bromo, because bromine comes first. 2 bromo, then there are 2 chloride on carbon 1 1. So I'll be having 1 1 dichloro. Alright? Then there is this methyl on carbon 4, and I'll be having 4 methyl, and the major name, the main long chain as the parent's name, which is hexane. 1 2 3 4 5 6 hexane. So hexane. So do we understand? Remember the rules. Pick the longest chain first, then number it in such a way that it gives the smallest value to the first branching. It's like in a street. You have a street. Now, let's say this is one plot of land, another plot. Now, there are no houses here. The first house from here, is built here. But from here, the first house is already here on plot 1. So instead of you numbering, giving 1 2 3, so the first building from here is going to be number 3. It's wrong. Why don't you number from here 1? Because there's already a building here. So you number from this end of the street instead of this end of the street. That is exactly what we are talking about. So since we are numbering from here, we follow our number. So 2 bromo, that is bromine, is on carbon 2. Then we have 1 1 dichloro, 4 methyl hexane. So this is for this name. Alright, quickly because of our time. So I hope you have done this. Of course, you can always play the video back. So let's go to question number 3. This is a jam question. UTME question. Question number 3. And UTME 1991, question number 48. So I have CH3, CH3, and I have CH2Cl. Now this is easy to explain or to name. Now all you can do is just to pause the video and attempt if you can try this. Alright? So what you do here is to pick the longest chain first. Now, you will probably want to pick this as the longest chain. But what do you call this? So you can as well pick the longest chain from here. You can as well pick the longest chain from here. So the best thing is to pick the longest chain from here, because actually this compound can be rewritten as this C. Then I have this H, I have it here, this C, then this H, and I have Cl, that is 2 hydrogen, 1 chlorine, then this H3, H, then H3. So this is the same thing as this. This is just to manage the space. Alright, so with that now, it will be wrong now to number from here. What about this? This is having an attachment, so you have to number from here. So from here now, I pick my longest chain. I could go this way too. I could go from here, it's still the same. So from here, remember this first branching, and is the only, okay, we have 2 branching here, 1 and 1. So with this now, I'll be having 1 2 3. So this makes the name easy. So I have 1 chloro, because of this chlorine on carbon 1, 2 methyl, this methyl is on carbon 2, 2 methyl, then there are 3 carbons here, 2 methyl propane, 3 carbon is propane. So it's as simple as this. Then quickly, let's do the last part. So I have CH3, C double bond, CH2, CH3. Then I have CH, CH2, CH, CH3, then CH3. Alright, this is our question number 4, and this is also a UTME question for those preparing for JAM or WAEC. But generally, this is naming in chemistry. Now, the first thing you want to do here also is to pick the longest chain. But there's something unique here from what we have been doing before. This has a functional group, which is this double bond. So in your naming, you have to give preference to the carbon carrying the functional group. The functional group is the key here. So instead of naming from here, where you have the branch chain on carbon 2, it will be wrong because that will give 1, 2, 3, 4. That will give the functional group to be on carbon 4. But you can number from here 1, 2, 3. Then this functional group will be on carbon 3. So in this case now, this is my longest chain. This is my longest chain. So this is one of my branch chain, another branch chain. Alright? So I can start numbering from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or I can start numbering from the other end of the street. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if you follow the black ink, 1, 2, 3, 4, this double bond is on carbon 4 here. But if you follow the red ink, 1, 2, 3, this double bond is on this carbon 3 here. So it's advisable to go with the one that the functional group has the smallest value. Hence, we are going with the red ink. Alright, so with this now, I will be having the functional, the branch chain and the branch chain, which is on carbon 3 and 6. So with that, I have 3, 6 dimethyl, 3, 6 dimethyl. This 3, this methyl is on carbon 3. So 3, 6 dimethyl, then 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is heptene, which is the heptene. So having 7 carbon hept, then having double bond in. So this is heptene. So with this now, we then have 3, 6 dimethyl hept. Now it's heptene, but we have to show the position of the functional group, which is the double bond. So it will be hept. This double bond is on carbon 3, hept3 in. So this is UTME question 1992, question 42. In our next class, I will also be considering more naming, and I will extract some questions in WAEC and JAM and other sources so that we have better understanding. Thank you. God bless you.